Hey there! You're listening to the Outsourcing Hub podcast, the pod that brings you anything and everything about building great teams in outsourcing. And we promise to share infinite opportunities, news, updates, and trends in the industry. Hosted by the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Infinit-O, Mike Gunyon.
Hi, I'm Mike Gunyon, Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Infinit-O, and welcome again to our podcast. If you've been listening, you know that we've been in the outsourcing business now for 16 years. Our clients go from anywhere from small to medium businesses, expansion stage startups, first-time outsources, among many others, and across many industries, from healthcare, finance and accounting, research and development, customer service, IT support, and even full stack sales at this time, and various back office. So welcome to another episode. And today we're going to be joined by Richard Tan, my friend and colleague, and Infinit-O's Vice President for our Client Services Group. Richard's been with the business almost since the beginning and has a great depth of knowledge and now leads all of our operations. Hi, Richard. It's a pleasure to speak with you this morning. Thanks for being here. How are you doing?
Doing well. Hi, Mike. It's a pleasure joining you here in this podcast. Actually doing great. It's been a while since we've all moved back working from home. It was challenging at the beginning, adjusting to all these setup, from working in the office, seeing everyone, to doing Zoom calls. And by this time, I'm getting used to it. Now that the vaccines the company ordered are already starting to arrive, I'm really hopeful that I can get to see most of our team again.
Yeah, and it's a big team too, and I know quite a endeavor to not just cope with the pandemic, but also to be proactive and get the vaccines lined up for everybody. We covered that topic on a previous podcast, and it was quite a thing, quite a big activity. And I'm glad to hear you're doing well. The pandemic has definitely been challenging for us, like many companies, and I think that we've emerged from it very, very well so far. Knowing that it's still ongoing. I'm sure most businesses, if not all, are striving to stay afloat and handle the same issues that we're facing, along with various crises in economies, and now seeing some of the recovery, in particular in North America, which is a good time for us to talk about business continuity and Infinit-O's business continuity plan. In this episode, we aim to share insights on how companies can effectively and efficiently keep their businesses running, at least plan for it, through the right outsourcing partnership. Let's start by talking about our BCP. First, please, Richard, if you can walk us through what a BCP is and what it was before and what it looks like now after COVID-19.
Let me share first what BCP is for Infinit-O. So BCP is actually a planned structure of what to do anytime that we are going to encounter events that may disrupt the business. The way we do this is that we plan out events and action plans against each of these events to ensure that we know or have an idea of what to do when these events happens. Because in Infinit-O, we understand that our clients require a business partner who can deliver consistently in different adverse scenarios. Okay. Some of our clients actually move most of their operations with us. Okay. This is why it's important that we have a plan in place to move things in order for us to deliver our commitment. IO's generic BCP is focused on redundancies prior to the pandemic. Okay. We have built offices that have redundancies as far as power, network, and also a plan on what to do in case there are outages that may potentially affect our members. We've maintained different partnerships with nearby hotels and locations so that we can ensure that people would be able to come to the office in these adverse events.
Very
so
good.
that's most. Go ahead.
Oh, good. No, it's a great point. Just talking about really the BCP is to be in place in case of major adverse events that you were just describing. So go ahead, please.
So I think like as we move on now, I think there was a big event that happened last year, which is COVID-19, okay, that affected like almost every single businesses in the Philippines. Okay. This has altered the way we approach BCP. Because prior to the pandemic, the focus of our BCP is bringing people together in our offices that offer systematic redundancies. And at that time, remote work was still a privilege rather than an option that was given to all of our employees.
So
However,
when COVID hit, we started to affect some of these changes that you're talking about. We're starting to see more of that.
yes, COVID actually pushed a lot of these changes into the way we approach BCP. Because from being people focused and structure or office focused, we moved to opening up opportunities for people to actually work from home and work remotely. Okay. We've actually lived our value where it is important to um, put the safety of our people first. Okay. So should I go in and dive in to like what are the events that happened along with the BCP as the pandemic hit last year?
Yeah, I think it would be good to give that level of context. In the past, natural events have occurred like earthquakes and other things around the world. And for us, we've managed through some of those type of things with more of a traditional BCP. And with the pandemic, it was slightly different, right? Because it was also sort of a natural event, but different because it's a pandemic. So as you said, some of those changes weren't just about having redundant facilities, but had to do with having redundant places for people to work and IT infrastructure and so forth. So maybe just providing a little bit of insight into that would be helpful.
Okay, let me start off with the story, like how things progressed from the time the pandemic or the lockdowns were announced in the Philippines. So when the lockdowns were announced, okay, Infinit-O's executive team had closed doors meetings to discuss like what are we going to do about it. Okay. With our close and strong ties with the government and the industry, we were actually a few hours ahead of like the public announcement. We already know that it's coming. That way, we are able to make the decisions prior to the lockdown. The first thing we did is try to understand what will be the requirements in terms of equipment, in terms of security, and I think the biggest challenge back then was logistics. Okay. We need to be able to bring people, take them out of the office without breaking service delivery for all of our clients. Okay. So over the 2 days prior to the lockdown, which is March 15 and 16, the company mobilized our team members to ensure we continue to deliver our commitment to our clients. Our partnership with our vendors allowed us to purchase huge orders of laptops to deploy to people. We're not talking about 10 units here. We're talking about a couple of hundred computers in 2 days to be delivered in the office. Infinit-O also managed to work together, allowing team members after their shift to bring home their computers because we want things to be secure. And the best way to do so is to have company equipment to be used for work when people are going to work from home. And along with that, we've worked with transport groups. Infinit-O hired vehicles to help people to bring their equipment to respective residences. If you can picture, most of us are still using desktops in the office. So we have a few hundred laptops, but the others would have to bring home their desktops and monitors, and that's not going to be easy if we were going to ask people to commute. So that's why we have to arrange transport and logistics to ensure that they would be able to bring those home safely.
So if I could ask Richard, so as I recall, within 2 weeks of the announcement, we had 100% of operations working remotely from people's homes with proper and company-owned equipment and started to put into place some of the IT oversight as well, correct?
Just a minor correction. I think we were able to hit 80% in the first 2 weeks. It took us a month to hit like the full 100% working remotely. So the 80% we allowed people to bring home the computers. However, we have clients who had site-to-site VPN tunneling to our office that does not allow non-static IP to access their system. So this actually gave us some challenges during the pandemic for BCP purposes, but that's where our IT team worked hand in hand with the client's IT group as well to move things to cloud and to allow people to be able to work from home. However, during this period, we did not stop delivering. Okay, remember, I talked about our partner hotels near the office. We've actually housed the team members near the office so that they won't have a lot of exposure with people who are sick. We actually transported people to and from these hotels. Even though this is walking distance from the office, we did not take any risk. We make sure that the people are being shuttled from the hotels to the office and back. Right? And we're also providing meals to the people during this time. Okay? They're safe. We're delivering our services, and we're working on the technology so that in a month's time, we're able to bring everybody to remote.
Yeah, I think that one of the great takeaways we've had in the feedback from our customers is that they felt that it was more or less seamless in terms of the operation, more or less seamless in our ability to provide the services that we have collaborated on with our clients. So in the end, I think there's a lot of significant learnings, and I think really building out of trust between us and our clients who said that the same success story didn't happen with many of their other providers of service. So it really helped actually to cement the relationships in many cases. Would you agree with that?
I think I would definitely agree with that. It created a lot of trust between companies as we work together across this pandemic. And also comparing Infinit-O to a number of companies that had difficulties during this time, this created and that our clients are experiencing. It really showed the difference in how we were able to deliver.
Yeah, absolutely, Richard. So now it's been more than a year since we launched that sort of critical activity to engage a BCP. How would you say we're measuring the overall effectiveness of that BCP from then till now? Successful. We had some key learnings, but give us a sense of how you would measure it.
The way I would measure it is by looking at how we did perform in 2020. Okay. Within 2020, we were able to retain 97% of our clients. Everybody renewed and continued to work with Infinit. That talks a lot about the trust that they're giving to us. Our NPS score has been really, really high. We hit 75 as an NPS score in 2020. Part of the reason is our continuous delivery. We never stop delivering regardless of what is happening in the world. We continue to deliver our commitments to our clients. And by the third quarter, when things started to open up, we actually expanded. Most of the businesses contracted during 2020. The projection earlier in that year says that most businesses will be contracting by roughly 15%. However, within Infinit, we actually expanded in 2020.
Yeah, those are great indicators. Yeah, we actually grew almost 20% year over year. And I think a lot of that was due to the great and hard work done operationalizing the BCP. So with that, Richard, I want to just thank you for walking us through our business continuity plan at Infinit-O, telling us the story of what it was like when the pandemic started to hit and how the team took action right away. I think it's very meaningful to know that we have a strong and secure business continuity plan in the event of almost any kind of a a crisis. So thanks again, Richard. It's always a great pleasure speaking with you. And thanks again to everybody for tuning into this episode. To get to know us better, look us up at www.infinit-o.com. And if you have any questions or you want to reach out to us, just email us at info@infinit-o.com. Thanks again, and please stay in touch for the next episode. Thanks again, Richard.
And that has been the Outsourcing Hub Podcast, Building Great Teams with Mike Gunyon. Thank you for tuning in. And always remember, start small, exceed expectations, think infinitely, think Infinit-O. To learn more about us, make sure to visit our website at www.infinit-o.com or email us at info@infinit-o.com. Until next time.